Hi!
Hi!
Everyone, I have the amazing, wonderful Heidi Duckler here with me today. Thank you
Hi.
so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Everyone, I want to introduce you to the amazing, wonderful Heidi Duckler, who is the founder and artistic director of the Heidi Duckler Dance Studio here in Los Angeles, California. And she also has another studio in the Northwest in Portland, Oregon, the Heidi Duckler Dance Studio of Heidi Duckler Dance Northwest. She has been titled the reigning queen of site-specific performance by the LA Times. Heidi.
Hi.
I am so glad you're here with us today. My first question for you is, what made you decide to actively pursue dance as a career instead of making it just a hobby like I think most people do?
That's such a good question. And, there's nothing wrong with having dance as a hobby. I think dancing is important no matter how we choose to do it and express ourselves. But I chose to actively pursue it in the academic world. And I got my degree in dance. It's actually a BS in dance, which is kind of funny. But I studied anatomy and kinesiology and ended up getting my degree in dance at the University of Oregon. And then I taught. I taught a lot of classes in dance, and then I came to Southern California, to Los Angeles, to get my master's in choreography, which is where my heart really lies. So I'm really interested in composition and how we compose dances in the world, because that's what I like to do most.
So were you always choreographing dances?
I think even as a child, I was always I mean I didn't realize it, but yes, I was always choreographing dances. And one of the first dances I choreographed was the story of Heidi, and we kind of made a little film about it. I think I was all of 10 years old. But anyway, yeah, it was sort of this journey with the father and the grandfather in the Alps, and which was actually in suburbia Portland, in my backyard. But yeah, it was always, imagination took over and took the form of dance and physical expression, and I really, that was where I found my joy.
And it's amazing that you didn't let that go, right? You kept that imagination and that childlike spirit of being able to express yourself creatively. And I think we all need to do a little bit more of that. But what made you decide to take it to the next level and actually create a studio and a company?
Right. Well, I was teaching ballet at the YWCA in Portland, and I had a huge class. Hundreds of women were taking my class, and I enjoyed it very much. But I thought, it'd really be fun to have my own studio and to teach dance the way I wanted to teach dance, not in any regimented form or classical form, but a more free form. So I looked around in Portland and I found an old funky space that used to be a laundromat, actually, and I rented it for next to nothing, and I had kind of a following, and the women followed me there, and I opened my own studio, and then we started to make dances together, and one dance we made was outside in Portland, and was one of my first site-specific works, in a park. And while we were dancing, the police came and arrested someone who, I think he was maybe inebriated or something. And I really enjoyed the fact that this was happening in the middle of real life. So it wasn't behind closed doors. It wasn't in front of a mirror. It wasn't anything too precious. It was real. It was real. and we took a lot of pictures of them carrying the poor gentleman away. But I was just inspired by the fact that you could dance in a city and combine physical expression with the activities that were happening around you.
So is that what site-specific means?
I think in a general term it does. It really does. It means that, real life and art are connected, and so that, I don't make dance in a studio and then transpose it and put it into a different location. But the dance that I make is created where in the location where it is performed. So and that means that it could talk about the location, but it can also talk about the communities that live and work and play there.
Could you talk more about that and how you involve the community and,
Yeah, because that has a lot to do with the history of a site and location, but also the imagined future of a place. So it sort of combines the historical reference and the imagination of what a place might be. So the fiction of a place. So I think that's very interesting to kind of look at both of those narratives.
And I read that you also raise awareness to certain topics and issues. How do you do that, and what have you focused on particularly?
Yes, I think that is also very important, especially in our world today. One of the things that we do here with our company is we have a festival that is focused on climate change, and we curate many different choreographers because they speak to climate change in many different ways. The festival has gone on for, I think, almost 5 or 6 years now, in different parks and different locations, and they use the environment to talk about the way we can artistically understand how we're connected to our environment. I think initially it started with the drought, but it's really grown from there, and it's really interesting how different artists can approach those subjects.
And what do you think has been the impact of that?
I think a lot of people come and they look at dance as not just a singular art form, but they look at it as something that can really activate us to participate in our world, and can drive change, can inspire us, can move us to make a difference, and to connect with one another.
Right, and that's so important, especially after what happened, in recent years.
Yes.
Being able to reconnect again and, be in the space of a live performance is also quite magical.
That's true. We've been in isolation for so long, and I think the one thing we realize is how much we need each other as humans. And so performance really provides that forum for us to connect with one another.
So I didn't have this question on my sheet, but how do you think dance contributes to mental health? I mean, you have such a bright and sunny, beautiful personality, and I can't help but think maybe dance helps with that. But how can dance affect mental health?
It's a beautiful question, and our mental and physical well-being are so interconnected. To use our bodies, it's so important. I mean, look, we're in front of a screen so much of our daily lives, and it's so important to have human interaction, to be able to express ourselves, to be able to use our bodies in space. To be able to look, we're all born with a body. We all are born to move, and I think we are all dancers. So it's really wonderful to be able to express all kinds of emotions even the scary ones. And I think those are key things to well-being. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially being able to express all of those emotions through dance.
Yes.
I really do believe people have to get those feelings out some way, and what a beautiful expressive way to be able to do that through dance.
Yes, and there's so many ways in which we can do that. I mean, look, I have a 93-year-old mom, and she's pretty housebound, but you can sit in a chair, and I send her some ways to move in a chair, and send it to her through Zoom. So there's really a lot of ways to bring joy to another person through movement, I think.
Okay, I love that. We should all be moving and all be dancing. So how do you use or focus on individual experiences? Like what have you pinpointed, like, you know what, that particular person's individual experience, I want to reveal that through dance?
Yes, that is primary. I think dance is a form of storytelling. So, we do a lot of that in journaling and storytelling. We have a lot of programs. We have a foster program where we work, it's called The Bridge, and we work with a mentoring one-on-one, which is very unusual. Foster kids have government support up until age 18, and then our program kicks in at 18 to 24 years old when there really isn't a lot of support for that age group. And so it's really important, whatever the artistic expression is, that it's supported, and through storytelling, whether that's photography or filmmaking or painting, or there's so many forms of storytelling. And dance is only one of them. It's an important one, but I think that's how personal expression is honored, and how we can help.
What an amazing program. And I think also just bridging in that mental health piece by mentoring foster kids who maybe didn't have the support that an adult or young adult needs in order to make it through life successfully and have coping skills.
Yes.
And being able to express themselves in healthy ways, and that your program is there to meet that need. I won't cry, but that is very impressive. Tell me about the films you've made.
Yeah, I teach at University of Santa Barbara in the film and media department. I love teaching screen dance because I think it's another way for us to access that storytelling and movement in a different form. And I love making small dance films myself. And recently, I've made a couple. I've made one. What's it called? It's like, I remember what I forgot.
I will remember what I forgot. Other.
Yeah, it's called "I Will Remember What I Forgot," and it takes place at the Behavior Center. It's a brand new center at Martin Luther King Community Hospital, and it focuses on a single individual, Raymond Ejiofor, and how he enters the Behavior Center to ask for help, and how the change that he goes through. The hardest part is to ask for help. And so he goes in, and you see him enter the elevator, go up to the 5th floor, and go through many conditions and states of mind. Then we did it also live, but we made the film, and I think it's profound, and it was a lot of fun to make. Just really focusing on him and his expression and body, and sort of the trajectory of how he goes through these different mental states. And then I made another film called Mother Other during Women's History Month in Portland, Oregon, at Affordable Housing Project, and with two women and two men, and that was also a real delight to do, because it's a brand new affordable housing project, and it houses many different kinds of families and different kinds of families, a lot of families that are new to the United States. And so we sort of tried to look at how you adapt, and that was an interesting process. Yeah.
Wow, you really are raising awareness. That's really powerful.
Thank you.
Is there any advice you can offer our audience who is wanting to be creative in some way, whether that's through dance or some other form?
I think, the advice I might have would be to be authentic to yourself, to listen, to be original, to create things that are personal and meaningful to your own experience, and then to also to have fun and collaborate with others that have ideas that might help stimulate you and sort of draw you into maybe unknown territory and stretch you a little bit further, and listen to some of the feedback from your peers that may take you into some unknown spaces. I think that that's what we want to do with our lives is learn and explore and experiment.
Right. And I think, Heidi is a perfect example of what can happen when you're doing something creative. I mean, she's bringing awareness to these major issues through dance and opening it up to an audience who may not have been exposed to what these problems and issues are, and then have those people potentially take action and do something to help and fix and heal and remedy the situation. But it all started from dance. It started from something that was creative. And you all have the power to do that as well through whatever that creative outlet may be. So, Heidi, what do you have coming up? What projects are on the horizon for you?
Oh, that's such a good question. What's in the popper? First of all, next week we're going to Brazil. And I know, I'm so excited. We leave on Tuesday, and we will go to a festival. We're commissioned by a festival that's a very innovative festival in Brazil. And the festival has long term been around for a long time, but they've commissioned companies from Europe and throughout South America, but never in the United States. So we're the first American company to go, and I'm so proud. And so we'll be making work in Brazil, in both Sao Paulo and in Rio. So we'll go there, and then when we come back, we leave again. We go to Portland, Oregon, and we're making a piece called Ordena. And Portland is very famous for its food carts, and we've made several pieces at the Portland Mercado, and which has many food carts from Central and South America, and we are creating a performance cart. So you can come up to our performance cart and order dishes, but they're dancing dishes. And our dancers will present them at your table, at these picnic tables. And so it'll be like a duet with some spicy tango, or a side of salsa, or, our menu. We're still creating our menu. But that's basically the idea, is that they'll be like performance bites in essence.
I love it. That's exciting. And congratulations, by the way. That's phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience?
I just want to say thank you for having me at your summit. I'm so honored to be here and share a little bit about what we do. We've been around for 39 years, and in 2025 we'll be really busy celebrating our 40th anniversary.
Wow.
And it's such a pleasure to meet you.
Aw.
You know, you're so kind. And thank you. I really am happy to be here today.
And it has been wonderful meeting you. It has been such an inspiring interview. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here in your space as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.